dukes in this movie. I mean, just, and all the time periods, and also the supporting, actors and the children. There was so much work that went into the different decades, and then the performance looks versus we're just in our house, so you needed someone who could live in every one of, because there's some people who are just, they kill, concert looks, but then in the house it looks like they're still going to the concert and it's a Saturday morning in their pajamas. So that's one of the things that Lawrence was really able to do with authenticity. And also I think, only a team of Black people could understand what Black women do to their hair before they go to bed and when they wake up in the morning. And that, I've never really seen that on screen. And that was important. And that's, that was Lawrence.
Miss Jennifer Hudson, I wanted to introduce these lovely folks because I have a hard time now separating when I think of Aretha to what I've seen you on the film, because I've now seen it 3 times. My mother watched it and said, "Who let that woman steal Aretha's voice?" And that is a quote.
Thank you.
And I wanted to talk about that because I know when I spoke to you last time, there were so many aspects of Aretha, from the piano playing to the wigs to the costumes, for you to really find her. And I would be so honored if you could tell again that moment when you knew you could not just be Jennifer Hudson trying to play Aretha Franklin, but give birth to the character you got to follow through this journey.
Wow. I feel like it happened within the scenes, and again, it's more of like taking all the elements from each department, that, as we call it, our toolbox, coming from Leland, the acting coach, and Tom Jones, the dialect coach, and then the costume and the hair and makeup, and knowing that all of those things are there, but and using all of those things in that moment, but at the same time using her influence and inspiration that she's had on me, and allowing that to come through, not to imitate her or mock or mimic, but to embody or allow it to come out in the most organic and authentic way possible, and wanting to be as honest in those moments that she lived, and allow myself to feel whatever she may have felt in those moments, while keeping in mind whatever I felt as though that she may have felt, at least how the scenes left me feeling, and allowing it to come from an honest place, if that makes sense.
Yes, and it did, and I think that's why it's so authentic and why it is so dropping to witness. The other thing I wanted you to talk about, I feel as a Grammy award-winning artist, we've all been students of Aretha Franklin, just listening to her and watching what she does, but you had to be a really in-depth student in addition to what you had in Private Moments to her. And I'm curious if there was any bit of research you came across that you found to be the most informative about Aretha outside of the cameras.
That's a good question. Outside of the cameras.
Is that harder?
You know what? Putting the two together, from learning things that we've learned of her that's out, that we all know about, and then wanting to look at that journey from an acting standpoint more so than a singer. I've always been a fan musically, but to learn of the conditions, the circumstances, the situations she may have been in, and the subtext from herself of what it meant to be able to tell the story, you know what I mean? It was one other thing I wanted to say. And then conversations with her. And we spoke all the way up into her passing. And it wasn't until while filming that I realized, wow, one, I felt like she taught me more about life while teaching me about her life, but I didn't realize how much she was speaking her truth until moments in certain scenes where I'm like, wait, wow, she was really speaking from real life experiences, which gave me the ammunition in those moments to know that I was telling her story, that I could put the two together within those scenes and those moments. Yeah.
Steve, I'm going to bring it to you with the